Hey everyone, how you all doing? This is Douglas. I know you're ready to watch us live going on in a few minutes. We're gonna get started soon once I log into the radio show. Um, how's everyone? This is Sunday evening. Life is good. Shooting. I'm right here in my office in Greenbelt. Um, so make sure you type in your questions. I got a lot of good stuff we're gonna be sharing today. A lot of great information that's gonna help you. Because it's all about helping you. Because once you know what to do and take control of your finances, then life is good. Once you take control of your finances, life is good. So you can never ever have to worry about somebody taking advantage of you, or the what do they call it, the federal government, the credit card companies, the financial institutions. You can't worry about them, taking advantage of you. So I just want to help you make sure we structure you properly when it comes to your credit. One second. Hold on, folks. Hello. Hey, man, how you doing? Greg. All right, my brother. So I was just logging in online real quick to the radio show. Um, I'm kind of multitasking here, folks. So bear with me. And I'm gonna make sure. Let me see. How can I make sure you guys are able to hear me at the same time? So let me know if you could hear me, though. Let me know if you could hear me. Trying to figure out something, folks, because I want to make sure you can hear my co-host. You know what? I think I'm gonna do something on here.
Hey, I am Dr. Don Bonte, your favorite doctor, your rich black girl, right here on WAEC Love 860 AM. Hey, y'all, give me a call. We're talking about other people's money,
That's
and that
right.
number is 404-355-8699. Hey, okay, how are you, darling? I'm good, baby. How about you? I'm always fabulous. You know the fabulosity that is I. Got you black and looking all sexy. I got my black, my shoulders out, feeling all extra grown and whatnot. I be doing my grown woman thing every now and again, Every so often. It looks well on. Thank you. Well, listen, I have a wonderful surprise today, everybody. But before I get to the surprise, I got to talk to my man, my partner in crime, Mr. Douglas. Thank you so much for joining us, Douglas. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous, doing awesome. Life is good, Can't complain.
Well, it wouldn't help you if you did anyway.
Yeah,
So
nobody's gonna listen.
What now?
Nobody's gonna listen anyway.
They listen. They love the negativity. I prove it when I do my Facebook Live. I got to put a little juice down to the title, and people be logging on. But this is what we're gonna do today. We have a very, very special guest host today. We're gonna be talking about other people's money, but I'm gonna fall back a bit. I'm gonna fall back because we have in the studio with us the owner of Millennial Global Investment, Mr. Laban King. But guess what else? He is also hopefully the 60th mayor of the great city.
Folks, let me know if you could hear me on Facebook Live. Just chat in the box and say, yeah, you could hear. Okay? And you could hear her as well. You could hear my co-host.
Mr. Laban King is only 33, so we're going to get it popping on some of these young French blood, okay? Some of this young life for Atlanta. Hey, Laban, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for having me. thank you so much for having me. This is my second time on the show, and the first time was a tremendous blessing. I really enjoyed myself, and can't wait to start coming a little bit more regular. So,
Nice.
yeah. How you doing, Douglas?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I am good. I'm good. Just it started to drizzle a little bit in Atlanta. So I don't know if when we leave, it's going to be probably doing that Harry Potter, Lord of Baltimore rain that it does in this city. Right, right. But I'm so excited to be here. I've done radio before, so it's just good to be back, get back in the fight. And especially to have conversations with Dustin. You know, a lot of times, with young people, we're expected to talk about, pop culture always, but that doesn't really interest me. I love to talk about building wealth for myself as well as for other people. So, I mean, we get a little popish, around here. We get a little popish. So, speaking of as long as a little, because we're interested in that too. So, my thing is always to bring people to the understanding that pop culture is a business. It is. Okay, and so let's look at the business side of pop culture. I want you to go ahead and get into some of these hot topics for us, ladies. Well, last week I had the opportunity. I took myself out on a date. Sometimes you have to take yourself on a date. You got to. And or you can call me. Oh, well, yeah. I'm not used to people having their time, so I gotta always remember that. Yeah. But I went to go see Girls Trip, and when I tell you, it was an amazing movie, and not only was it a great movie, it was written extremely well, directed well, the acting was incredible, but it grossed $67.5 million. Wow. And the budget was only $19 million. Wow. And it was directed by Malcolm Lee, and he's done so many movies. He's actually Spike Lee's cousin, so it's just great how he's kind of keeping it in the family. But the one thing I just want to add my 2 cents about Girls Trip. Mm-hmm. Now, I was reluctant to see it because you know how people build the hype up. They're just like, well, should I go, whatever. I love Queen Latifah, Jada, and Regina Hall. Those are just one that I love. Mm-hmm. But I have a newfound respect for them. Okay. Because they really let that young lady, Tiffany Haddish. She's a wonderful comedian. I watch her stand up on YouTube all the time. Whenever I need a good laugh, they gave her the alley-oop and let her shine. Nice. And, it just really goes to show, at the end of the day, Queen Latifah and Jada will always have a career in Regina Hall. But they really set this girl up for success. And I think she just signed on a $1 million deal to do, a comedy special. I don't know whether it's on, Netflix or HBO. She's hilarious. She deserves it. She is. And so I loved it. But really, I went to the first Essence Festival in 2000, and we just were there by default. What happened was it was the NAACP convention at the same time, and so we just ran in with each other. Mm-hmm. But I haven't been back. So because of this movie, I really have an interest in going to the Essence Festival. Wait, is that a spoiler? Was it? It was. They filmed it last year at the Essence. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it was a 2.5 hour or however long was commercial, but I thought it was great. Okay. And so if you guys want to go to the Essence Festival, maybe we can rent a plane. Enrique. Rent a bus. So did you interested in seeing Girls Trip, or have you seen? Well, I gotta find a young lady. I mean, I just can't walk in now. Then the fellas ain't going to see it. You ain't finna call no other men you malicious. No. You ain't finna call the fellas ain't going to see Girls Trip. I will say this though. I hope they do not do a sequel. Okay. Let's leave it let's let it be. Because they were saying that it is the female version of Hangover. That was the Yeah, I can see that because there definitely was some parts that kind of remind you of it, but I just don't want it to be part 3 and 4 and 5. If they get the money, they're gonna do it. Right, Douglas. The parts come first. Douglas.
Yes.
What are you thinking? Are you thinking about going to see this movie or what?
You know what? I already seen it. It's a great movie.
That's it.
Hey,
Great. Yeah.
It's just a movie, I mean, but it was good. They did they did their thing. They made money. That's all that matters. But it's all good.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Yeah. What did you say, Laban? The purse. What the purse comes first? Yes, I like that. I'm gonna steal that like it's mine. I'm gonna start using that. The purse comes first. Hey, spread the gospel. Okay. All right. Well, so what other hot topics we got going on? Okay, so there's some internal foolishness going on. Oh Lord. At Google. Silicon Valley first it was with Uber and the CEO, and then different memos, but now there is a 3,300 word manifesto written by a male engineer that basically states that women are biologically not equipped to work in tech. What? Seriously? Come on now. Come on now. Okay. This is always really interesting to me, and I was talking to you a little bit about this when we were preparing for the show today. So whenever it comes to diversity and things like this, I feel like these big companies, they sort of underreact and then they overreact. And the underreaction comes when they're building their team, building their company. They're hiring everybody that looks just like them and nobody else. And then they go, oh, I didn't know we had a diversity problem. Well, who was doing the hiring? Who was doing the hiring? Because that's where it starts. If you have people of all colors and genders in positions of power that are actually hiring, guess what? You're not going to have a diversity problem. So let's start there. Well, I just want to give a shout out real quick to a college friend of mine, Erin. Hey, Erin. And she's out in Silicon Valley, and I want to say it's either the New York Times or Wall Street Journal. They said that she was the smartest woman in Silicon Valley. Now, Erin T was a hard worker and graduated, I want to say she was an engineer student. I think she got her MBA. But for her to be considered the smartest woman, she was a black woman from Detroit, went to the University of Michigan. But to say that women are biologically inferior to not work in tech is the most ridiculous thing. That is. And I can't even believe someone would take the time to be able to try to write that up. Right.
Old white man.
Of course.
So he got the time. I mean, he got the old white man running the country. He got this whole old white man, this way of thinking has this. I mean, since 45 started running, it has messed it all over again, and so it doesn't surprise me.
Well, you know what? Let me say this. Have you guys ever seen the show They're White People on Netflix? I haven't, but I should watch it. It's amazing. I can truly say, if anybody wants to know my college experience, it was that to a T. Because when I was a freshman at the University of Michigan, that's the year that the affirmative action lawsuit went to the Supreme Court. And so it was a lot of, on, campus tension and stuff like that. And, the school was very supportive, but, it was just constantly defending ourselves. The one thing I will say is, when you look at affirmative action, and even when you look at these diversity hiring, the numbers are still extremely small with it. It's not like when they do these affirmative action or diversity type of hiring, it's 50-50. Right. You're lucky if you get 10%. So it's just one of those things where he's crying because at the end of the day, it's probably, 4 women he has to work with out of maybe 400 people. Right. So it's not like it's an influx of women in Silicon Valley. So, Douglas, what's your take on this whole thing? Do you feel like women are biologically inferior and should not be working in tech? Come on, just tell us how you really feel.
I mean, women should be doing everything a man can do. Women can do better. So it'll be dumb for any human being to say, I mean, women rule the world. They just don't know how much power they got. If women take a strike today and quit, I mean, the whole of America will stop existing. So, so I believe a woman can do anything. Basically, any human being can do anything another can do. You just got to put your mind to it. And if somebody's done it before, guess what? You can do it.
You know what? So I agree with that. However, I think there are some things that women just really don't want to do. I think it's some things that we're going to leave to y'all. Thank you very much.
Like what? Like what? Like what?
Okay, see, here you go. Mm-hmm. You're in trouble.
Tell us what.
Tell you what?
Yeah, what is it that a woman don't want to do that a man,
It's a family shelter.
I mean, we're talking about jobs. We're talking about jobs, right?
Oh, what you doing for, Enrique?
I mean, I agree with what everything Douglas said. I mean, I've worked with women in all facets of my life.
Okay.
In pretty much every job I ever had.
Yeah.
And most so much just as good, if not better, than we are.
So do you think women want to do things like work in, like, say, sanitation?
Yeah.
They want to?
There are some women that...
I've seen them.
Well, that's not that don't want to work in sanitation. You know, you do what you have to do. But, I mean, if they're there, and my whole philosophy on it is, whether it's a woman, this whole transgender thing, if you come to do the job, and you can do the job,
yeah,
let's do it.
Well, okay, so you brought up the transgender thing, right? And so I had a conversation with someone recently who was saying that she felt that Donald Trump was protecting the transgender people when he said that transgender people should not serve in the military. I don't know where in the hell that logic came from, but that that was what was said. And I'm just gonna leave it at that people are trying to find these really crafty and creative ways to exclude people from certain environments. And I would like to encourage us to stop wanting the government to legislate our safety. That is not, you don't want that. You don't want a whole bunch of laws and rules governing your life. I know you think you do, and you may think that the government is going to protect you and all of that. That's not their job, first of all, and they don't really care about you all that much. I mean, really, they don't really care about you that much. They care about you being, a part of the herd and doing what you're supposed to do and all of that. But as far as your safety is concerned, let me tell you something. If safety was a part of our government, what they cared about, we would not have things like the Food and Drug Administration. Those things have nothing to do with each other. Why are we mixing food and drugs? What is happening with that? Okay, I mean, we would not have firearms, alcohol, and tobacco. So what are we going to do? Smoke a little something, drink a little something, shoot a little something? That's what we're going to do? I mean, so come on. We gotta really think about it. They don't keep anything from us. Like, they really are in our face with, what the agenda is. And, a lot of times we're just asleep to it. So, yeah, but, okay, so I ain't even supposed to be hosting all like this. I'm just, all over the mic. I can't help myself. So, anyway, back to you, Nathan.
So, speaking of Trump, let's talk about whether he's liked or not, whether he would be picked on the playground. So,
I say no.
His approval rating is at 36%, and it's extremely low, almost as the lowest. President Bush's was 25% during the 2008 recession.
Wow.
But this is awkward considering that unemployment is the lowest it's been in 16 years.
Wow.
And 1 million jobs have been created since he's president. Now, let me just say this. Just because unemployment is low and just because 1 million jobs have been created doesn't mean that he had anything to do with it.
He didn't have anything to do with it. And I think we all know that.
From Obama. So.
It is spillover.
Yeah, but, the thing about it is this is a clear indicator that not only are, of course, the Democrats, disappointed with him,
right,
but to get to 36%, the Republicans,
young people,
yeah,
don't like you.
Yeah, so that's, I think one of the biggest issues is that it's musical chairs in the White House.
Right.
I mean, there has never been so many key position changes in such a short period of time. We're kind of like running on autopilot. We're almost not even being governed.
I feel like this is proof that we don't need a president. What say you, Rick?
Donald Trump is an egotistical maniac.
He says that every show, every time.
I mean, and that's the bottom line of this thing.
Yeah.
He's a media whore. Everything he's doing is for his attention, to better his brand. He does not care about the country, because if he did, this thing would be going on.
Yeah. What you got for us, Douglas? Low approval rating of your president.
Well, you know what? I mean, guess what? There's Congress and Senate. If they don't like him, they need to vote him out, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you know what? It's all what it is. I don't give a care about whichever president or who is running the country, as long as they don't interrupt my money. That's why I tell folks all the time, what you do is focus on what you focus on best. One of the politicians in Nigeria, that I mean, he's not a politician, the richest man in Africa, Dangote. I was reading one of their articles that he did, and he said, listen, I don't care who comes into power. I just make sure that a lot of businesses, they wait and they say, oh, I want to wait to see how the new government is before they make a business move. And by the time the new government comes in, they say, oh well, we need to wait and see who they pick. He said, no, I don't do that. I continue running my business and doing what I need to do. And that's why he's the richest man in Africa. He's, the guy keeps moving. If people keep sitting down and focusing on a presidential candidate or whoever it is, I mean, at the end of the day, they're not going to do anything. None of them are going to do anything to benefit your pocketbook. You better go out there and hustle and do what you need to do to grow your business. At the end of the day, small business owners, small business in America is designed to continue to grow, and the laws are already created to benefit you as a business owner. So you just gotta run your business. That's the way I see it, and that's the way, so I don't really care about who, Republican, Democrat, whoever. The last time I checked, none of them's writing a check for me.
I know that's right. They ain't wrote me no checks either.
I don't know if I agree with that, Douglas.
Well, I don't.
Let me break down everything you just said. You said as long as he's not messing with your money. The one thing about leadership, especially elected leadership, is you don't necessarily see the benefits or the downfalls of that person until years from now. So he might not be affecting your money right now, but if he tanks this economy, trust me, within maybe 2 to 3 years, you'll definitely be seeing it.
Well, not really, because Bush, I mean, he almost took the economy, but guess what? Down. But you know what? America is still the richest country in the world. America still controls oil. They still got everything they need to do. So again, like I always, at the end of the day, everybody in America need to focus on what they need to focus on best, which is become your own mouthpiece. Go out there and build your business. Take care of your family, protect them. Use the law of the land to benefit you. The law is already created. You just gotta figure it out. I mean,
The law is what the majority says, and that's the one thing that I really want to make sure, because I mean, running for office, I gotta somewhat talk about this. It used to be illegal, and in some states punishable by death if you were black and knew how to read. Wow. So what that means is, like, whatever we say as a people, that can become law. So it really is about making sure that the person that you want to represent you is in that seat to be able to write that legislation. I can truly say that in 2008, me running for for mayor right now, I am seeing people who have still not recovered from the recession. Like when I had to put my car in the shop and I took an Uber for like a good week, and every Uber driver was a white person for the most part that still was struggling from the downfalls of the recession. So Atlanta got hit the hardest. We're number one when it comes to bankruptcies, foreclosures. We're number one. Yeah. So it really does matter who's in that seat.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. When I was preparing for the show, I was kind of surprised at the low approval rating, mainly because, I mean, 36% of the country didn't put him in office. He would have had to have way more votes. So what baffles me is his own people don't like the job he's doing, and regardless of the fact that we seem to be in a good place financially as a country, they still don't like this brother. They like, man, we don't like you. So that was really what was kind of interesting to me, is that his own folks ain't really feeling him.
I mean,
got to say, Rique.
You know what they can do? They could vote him out, impeach him. That's what they can do. Instead of sitting around talking about it, let them go ahead and impeach the guy. At the end of the day, he didn't show his tax records. He's still president. So obviously the people don't care. They put him in power. Folks, I mean, we could talk about politics all day long, but our American people spoke. They voted him in. He has a low approval rating. They need to vote him out if they don't want him in there. The Congress is there. I mean, Republicans control that, which is the people that put him in power. Guess what? They could impeach him. They could stop. None of them is talking about that. So, we as American people need to again focus on taking care of our family. We have so many folks. You talked about those Uber drivers. You talk about different people. How many folks even have a life insurance contract? People could sit all day and right. Of course, you got to talk about that because everybody talk about, oh, I want to build wealth, I want to create wealth, I want to do this, but then once they drop dead, they leave a bunch of debt to their family, and some people don't even have a simple will. They don't have a will. They don't even have anything written down. So we hate the government so much, but then when we pass away, we leaving all our money to the government. 90% of the money is going to go back to government because people are not structured properly. They don't own stuff properly. People are investing in real estate, they invest in the stock market, they're doing all this stuff that they're doing, building up all this money. But once you drop dead, you have millions and millions of dollars. Guess what? Estate tax alone will eat up all that money, and your family members won't get a dime. Guess who gets it? The federal government.
Well, I want to say this because I say Dr. John Bonte more for president because somebody just said on Facebook Live that thanks to me they're in profit. So I'm so I want to say Dr. John Bonte for president, y'all. Okay,
Yep.
we got to move on. I think it's time. Is it time for a break, Ricky? We need to go to a break. We got a few more minutes. It's my word. You just a squirrel. Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little teeny, weeny, itty, bitty break. And we're going to come back and get into this main topic, y'all, other people's money. We're about to talk about this credit, all right? Amen. We will be back.
Yo, folks, we're going to get back in a few minutes. It's going to get juicy in a few minutes. We're going to start talking about credit game. How you could build your credit, keep it going, taking your credit to the next level for you as business owners, individuals. Because if you don't control your credit, at the end of the day, somebody's going to control it for you. So you're either using somebody else's money or you're using your own money. And it doesn't benefit you at all to be using your own money. And so one of the things that I'm going to be sharing a few is how I've been using, life insurance contracts to benefit me, which is the insurance company's money, and how you could use it to rebuild your credit if you want to, and take your credit to the next level. Because when it's all said and done, it's all about you empowering yourself, empowering your family, taking your business. If you're a business owner, structuring your business properly. If you're listening to my voice and you don't have a simple will written already, that you're in a big you are just building wealth for the federal government because everything you've worked hard for is going to go through probate court. And I'll tell you this: you don't love your family if you don't have a will. You do not love your family if you don't have a will. So let me tell you, let me say it again. If you don't have a will, a simple will, you don't love your family at all. You hate them because you're gonna have them battle and fight in court to get that money or get that asset that you left for them. So you need to make sure you're structured properly, and then once you start accumulating some type of wealth, then you need to talk about setting up a trust. And there's different types of trust that you could set up. But that's something that I normally have privately with some of my clients and people that fit the bill, because you got to be structured well, and a lot of times insurance agents talk about life insurance being tax free. Yes, it is tax free, but it's not estate tax free. All right, so let me repeat that. It's tax free when you're taking income, but it's not estate tax free. So life insurance counts as part of your estate at death. So, but that's a different education. Make sure as you continue to watch and learn and grow in your knowledge. If you have questions, you can always hit me up, 301-220-3555 and set up an appointment in my with my office assistant so we could help you. And if you're an insurance agent out there, you're trying to figure out and learn this business, come on. I'll teach you what you need to know to be successful in the financial industry. No cookie cutter stuff. We do common sense stuff. We teach you things where, not just what some financial company is telling you to do. I take you on a different ride, man. Teach you things that you could take back to your clients and help them become successful and yourself become successful in your finances. So we're gonna be getting back on the show in a few minutes. Let me see real quick. Hold on a second, folks. All right, we're still on commercial. So if you have a question, you're watching me, just type it on the chat. I could answer some questions for you right now while I'm waiting for us to get back on the show. And please share this video, share this Facebook Live. It's gonna get juicy in another few minutes. Because you definitely, if you know someone that owes a bunch of money on credit card debt, make sure you let them know about this, and let me help them. I'm gonna show you something that's gonna blow your mind. Especially if you're making extra payment. If you're making extra payment on a credit card, you wanna watch this. I'm gonna show you how to pay off your credit card quickly and still have a lot of money left over. I mean, the key is control. You gotta always be in control of your money. Always, all the time. So if you have a question, text it, type it on the Facebook Live. So we're back.
And so AAA was backed up for about like a good 2 hours. While I sat for AAA waiting for them, I was trading. The money that I made during that sit paid for my car to be fixed.
We're talking about Forex, Forex trading right now.
It doesn't get any easier than this. Like, it really doesn't. It's about you believing in yourself, really learning it. It doesn't take a rocket science to do this, but it takes some initiative.
You gotta trade Forex, make that money. Hit me up if you want me to show you how to get that done and how you could start trading and don't use your name to trade. I'll teach you how to do it so you can minimize your tax bill and still protect your asset. Clean, easy, the way the wealthy families are doing it. Don't hit the what they say. Don't hit the player. Hit the don't hit the game.
Make a little bit more money, and for some of you that really want to do it, this could be your 9 to 5.
I mean, so the thing that I really like about foreign exchange, and I talked about this when we did the Facebook Live in your group. One of the things that I was discussing is how it was proven to me back in early 2000 when I first learned about foreign exchange. It was proven to me that there is no such thing as a recession. Like, that just does not exist.
Right.
There is money floating around. There is money in our economy always available for us to tap into. And we buy into shortage and lack. And what I really enjoy about the foreign exchange market itself is what you said. This is a wealth transfer. This is leveling of the playing field. The internet has changed the game on so many levels.
Absolutely.
And this is one of them, because now most investing is self-directed.
Right.
And so you can learn, to use what's already been there for 80 plus years to get your hands on some of this money. You guys, it's a really beautiful process, because one of the things that Douglas mentioned is, how, hey, if your government is not pleasing to you, vote them out. But remember, you have the power to put money in your pocket. One of the things that we ignore a lot of times is local government. We ignore local government. That's the stuff that really, really governs your life. That's the stuff that's going to touch you every day. When you talk about a president, that's kind of like a figurehead. That's just like a representative. But when you're talking about, and I think that's where Laban's passion was coming from, in the conversation, because he's looking to make local changes that are going to affect people's lives every day. And one of the changes that he wants to make is to help people build wealth and be a real educator instead of being someone who's like, well, you don't worry, citizen. Here's a pat on the head. I'll fix it. No, come in, get into the business, understand how money works, and govern your own wealth so that you don't have to depend on the government. But at the same time, watch these politicians. Keep your eye on it, because somebody like Trump, like we mentioned, is not. He has no interest. He don't even know what's going on in your city, your town, your state. He has no clue what's going on. I don't think he has very much information about what's going on around him. He has handlers. He has advisors who are really running the show. All he is a figurehead. That's pretty much it. But what I do still find interesting is that even the people who voted him into office they got buyer's remorse, right? They have buyer's remorse. And so for me, when I look at a system like Forex that we are all a part of, whether you trade or not, you're a part of it, because guess what? The money that's in your pocket, you're going to spend it. You're going to pay a bill. You're going to buy something. You're going to invest it. And guess what? That money is going to go back into the market, and someone's going to trade. Your bank is going to trade it. Your credit union. Somebody's going to trade that money. And you're going to either capitalize off of that or you're not. And so why not be a part of something where you can really, really capitalize off of it? Douglas, give us your take on this.
I agree totally. I mean, somebody's gonna make money. Either you gonna make it or somebody else gonna do it. You could sit down and make excuses all day long, but you cannot make excuses, and you cannot make money at the same time. So you gotta pick one. So somebody's gonna do it, and why not you? I mean, foreign exchange market has been around forever. Now you have an opportunity to get involved in it for as little as $239. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense if you don't do it. Now, understand this again. Nobody's saying just jump all in, but guess what? Test it out and see how it goes. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Nothing.
Just like Trump. Black people vote for me. What do you got to
Well, here's the thing about our market live is that this is an education company. This is not a trading company necessarily. So jumping in is not even really an option. What you're doing is you're learning a valuable skill that you can take with you anywhere in the world. So there is really no jumping in. Now, if you want to learn while you are, we provide you with financial apps that allow you to make money trading without you even having to know how to trade. And that's the beauty of it. My mentor, Dawn $1 Million Wilson, honey, she called me. Shout out to Dawn, $1 Million Meals. I think she had a wedding this weekend. But listen, Dawn called me either Friday or yesterday. And she said this. She said, listen, she said, anybody that's working with you that's not making $500 a month trading, you need to get on the phone with them, and you need to find out how you can short up their ability to make at least $500 per month trading. And that's why I love Dawn, because she sparked something in me. My people, I've recruited a lot of people to this company, and so now I have a renewed sense of commitment. I have a renewed sense of love, and I have a renewed sense of what my job is here. Y'all, we gotta make $500 a month at minimum trading. So I started a thing that I'm doing every single Thursday. I'm gonna be training you guys. You gotta be down for the cause. You got to be in the money school group. You have to be a member of IML, but I'm going to start training you myself so that I can make sure that I'm touching everyone and that you're in a position to win. I want you to win. Dawn, you have challenged me, and I accept the challenge. My people are going to make $500 per month trading. Every single one of them.
And the one thing, Dr. D said that it's IML is a educational source, but the one thing for me, it's just being in the company of excellence. I think that a lot of times when we talk about success, we sort of realize it's about your environment first.
Right.
And, I'm around people that are literally building wealth and have the time to prove it. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of, like, right now, these Facebook wealth builders, and this is no shade, but my issue with
y'all know when somebody says no shade.
Well, yeah, of course. But the problem that I have is that people are giving advice to fragile people, to broken people, and it's not good advice.
Right.
And they're not living what they are saying.
Right.
You know, with me, the one thing about me, ain't nobody ever seen me work no 9 to 5 here. Since I've been in Atlanta for the past few years, nobody has ever seen me drive nobody's Uber or Lyft, and there's no shade to nobody that does that. But what I'm saying is this wealth game is what I do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I really want people to understand that what I do, they can do as well, but you have to surround yourself by go-getters. Some people are like, well, nobody on my social media wants to sign up. You need to erase everybody in your social media. Seriously, because it's like you're not around the right energy. You're not around the right vibe of entrepreneurs. I mean, you know, you got everybody that's, you know, complaining about Colin Kaepernick, but nobody's trying to come together and practice group economics and try to buy their own team.
Right.
Which can easily be done if everybody got a 750 credit score.
Yeah.
Because you can get at least $500,000 in starting capital. But we'll go there in a second.
We're going to go there in just a second. But, you know, let me say this. I agree with you 100%. I don't know everybody on social media. I have a lot of people who listen to my Facebook Live. People share, and, you know, I get several text messages, emails, and inbox messages from people thanking me for sharing the information, breaking things down, you know, putting things in perspective for them. And that's really the thing that I love to do, because here's the thing. One of the ways that you're going to attract the right type of people to your organization, to your life, is by having your mind right first.
Right.
And so what I aim to do, what my charge is to help you flesh out what it is that you're missing, where it is that you might be mistaken in your thinking, where's your miseducation. And once I can get you to see that, then you can begin to let go of some of those long-held beliefs. Because, you know, y'all got y'all little believies. You know, y'all hold tight to what you believe. And what you're believing in is shaping your life, for better or for worse. What you believe in, if you believe in, you know, the traditional ways of doing things, traditional ways of thinking, and you're looking at your people who follow that, and they do not live a life that exemplifies what it is that you're wanting to create. Well, there's message, okay? Message. Look at the people who you're taking your advice from. Look at the people whose lead you are following. Are they happy? Are they wealthy? Do they live in poverty? Do they have a lethargic mindset? What are they doing with themselves? You know, if somebody's telling you this is the type of lifestyle that you should live, and they're living that lifestyle, yet they complaining to you about what's going on in their life, I mean, you might wanna not follow said advice. So I agree 100% with you, Laban. But I will say that one of the things we got to do is get the minds right and the hearts right. Y'all don't get tired of me on Facebook. You said, somebody said that they don't have the right Facebook friend. Let me tell y'all something. I can tell y'all right now. Before it's over, y'all gonna be like, I cannot get away from Dr. D.
But you know what? The reason why you have to do so much is because you have to overcompensate for the tons of messages that are, you know, against it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So listen, I'm ready to talk about some credit. And one of the things you said is, if we all have a 750 credit score, then we can buy us a team. I want to do that. How we do that, lady? Tell us. Get us started.
You gotta get the credit score first.
Okay.
So
my credit score, I'm not quite. I got a 728 middle. I got a 705 low. My lowest is 705.
Okay.
And that's because I had a lot of inquiries.
Okay.
And so I'm waiting for some of that stuff to fall off. But then I know some people who are in the high 600s, and they feel like it's slow going, getting that credit score. And I remember being in that position, like it was like a ceiling, like, you know, getting into the 700s was challenging. And you know, a lot of people don't really realize how many credit bureaus are out there. They think it's only 3. They don't understand credit mix utilization. Once I got a taste for, you know, what are they looking for as far as credit scores are concerned, then I was able to juggle things and break into that 700 credit score realm. But I want you to talk to us a little bit about how we do that. Like, where do we start?
Well, I actually used to do credit repair, and I stopped doing it because it became a babysitting service. credit repair situation. Yeah. But the one thing, okay, so I have an 812 credit score. Okay. And the one thing I tell people is there's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay. Mm-hmm. Don't have to pay all your bills on time to get a score that high. You have to have great communication. You believe it or not, if you know for some reason you can't pay that bill when it's due on the first, call the bureau beforehand and say, listen, the bill costs $100. I'm not going to have any of it. They're going to ask, well, can you at least put $5 on it? You can do it. But really, a lot of people's credit scores are bad because of bad communication. Bad communication. Yeah. It's almost like, you not answering the phone, it hurts you way more than it hurts the credit bureau.
Well, now, I talked about that in an earlier Facebook Live that I did about not having a relationship with your money. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I mentioned is that, you have an obligation to decide whether there is shortage or whether there's abundance. You have an obligation to decide how you want to direct your money. And I don't think people think about, credit and monthly financial obligations and calling the people up and communicating with them and saying, hey, I want to change my due date. It could be something as simple as that could save
sure
you.
Could.
Just you ain't even got to get on the phone and explain, well, see what had happened was. It could be as simple as saying, I would like to change my due date.
Well, a lot of it is about also being organized. Perfect example, if you know a bill is perfect. Okay, so in my house I have a calendar, and I know what bill is due when. So, it's just about maintaining records.
Yeah.
Writing down everything, documenting everything, because once you begin to organize yourself, that's the path that you will be able to start to win. Like I said, if getting great credit does not mean per se that you have paid your bills on time. It just means that you have a strategy and that you're using your plan. Now, of course, you've got to still pay the bills now. But you have to remember, 80% of things on people's credit reports are inaccurate. 80%.
Well, that's the first problem.
Yeah, so a lot of people are paying bills that they technically don't have to pay.
Right.
And so you have to know what is yours and what is not. That's number one. And once you figure that out, hey, you're going to get a great score.
So Douglas has a PowerPoint presentation. Is that on your YouTube, Douglas?
No, it's on Facebook Live.
Okay. Okay, so Douglas has a PowerPoint about using how to use life insurance to rebuild your credit. And what I do want to talk about a little later is the difference between credit repair and credit rebuilding. There is a difference. But first, before we go there, we're going to talk about the abundance of credit bureaus, because most people think there are only 3, and you think that it's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. That is only half the story, less than half the story.
Right.
So let's talk about all of the different bureaus, credit, or let's call it what it is, consumer reporting agencies. Okay, because all of this information is going to affect your life and your quality of life, and this is why you need this information. Okay, so let's start off by talking about employment screening service. There's an abundance of it. Okay.
Yeah. So we have American Data Bank. Accurate background, backgroundchecks.com, Employee Screen, IQ, First Advantage Corporation, InfoQ, Intel Corp, and Employees.com. And basically, if you know, nowadays for a lot of jobs, a lot of positions, they are going to run a credit check. I know that
credit and background.
Yeah, credit and background, because they want to see if you are, basically, it's about communication. They want to see if you are trustworthy, and they don't want to know that they're, let's say, for instance, they give you petty cash. They don't want you to be using that petty cash to then pay, your own personal debts on the side. So a lot of these companies, and even some schools, are starting to use it. So it's the system that we're in. And so you might as well get it together, because
you're going
to be prevented, from mobility without it.
Well, let me say this, and then I'm going to go to Douglas on this topic. So here's what a lot of people don't know. This is a law. This is legislation. Okay. If you are applying for a position that pays $75,000 or more per year, that company is required by law to run a credit and background screening on you. Now, I said job, right? Because I used to do mortgages. And I remember going to this mortgage company as a loan officer. I was considered an independent contractor. Okay. And I had enjoyed that lifestyle for a long time, but I applied for a job with a company. And they did a credit check because, they give you a laptop and a car and all of this stuff, big old beautiful office. And they did they did the whole credit and background. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I had to go into, because my credit wasn't the greatest. I'll admit this, back in right after I bought my house, probably 2003 or whatever. And my credit was not the greatest, and so I had to go into one of the offices of one of the higher ups and just throw myself on the mercy. And I was like, listen, so my credit ain't all that good, but I bring in mortgages by the truckload. I'm gonna bring you 40 loans a month. You better believe. And let me tell you something. Give me 2 months, that credit gonna be so shiny and new. And they did it. They listened, and I learned from that experience, because I didn't know that prior to that. I learned from that experience that it is up to me that any information about me that's out there, I have to govern what people are seeing about me, whether it's something on social media or my credit or whatever it is. I am to manage my brand, even if I'm not trying to be in the public. I like that. I have to manage my brand, and my credit is a part of my brand.
Well, credit is the foundation to building wealth.
Yeah.
That's the first stop.
Like,
yeah, like I want people to understand it. Let me say it one more time. Credit is the foundation to building wealth. That is the first stop. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, if you hit the lottery or something like that, that's different. You still got to be able to have the credit because most people that hit a lottery end up losing it because they don't have that.
But won't they if you owe certain like government entities and stuff, won't they go ahead and take that money from your lottery winnings first? So yeah, even if you win in the lottery, you better get that credit together, or else you're gonna have to send your friend down there. You don't know if they're gonna come back with your money. Okay,
so it's one of those situations with once you are able to master credit, you realistically can start building wealth.
Yeah.
So definitely don't sit back and let whatever bad score that you have really put you in a financial prison. That's what I call it.
So Douglas published his what was it, 805, 850? What was your credit score, Douglas?
805.
805. So Douglas published his personal and his business credit score. And Douglas, I want you to talk a little bit about why it's important to keep your business and your credit, your personal credit, separate.
Amen.
Well, you got to, because like, I don't use my personal credit to do a lot of things. I have great credit, yes, but I don't really use it. I use my business credit for a lot of things that I do.
I have a question real quick.
Yes.
I just want to ask you this real quick. Is part of the reason why you have such a great personal credit score because you don't use it?
Oh no, I use trust.
Okay.
No, I use it to get so. I mean, I have. Well, I'll say it this way, because every time you charge your personal credit card, it reflects on your credit score. So a lot of times I use my business credit line because it reflects on the business side of it. Most of my accounts that I have, like my American Express and the rest of them, they're all on my business side of the my company, and some of them on my trust, because my trust also has its own credit line. So I have about 5 tax IDs that I use and I utilize all the time. And you know, but my personal, I mean, I have a lot of credit limit on credit line on my personal credit that I use. I mean, my average, you have to spend about 30% of your total credit. So I only spend about 27%. And actually, the reason this particular my credit score dropped, which it was because they did what they did, I applied for the Kirby, the vacuum cleaner I just bought. I financed it. I mean, it's $1,600, and you might say, well, guess what? I financed that. I don't pay cash for nothing. I finance it, and I did for 24 months. So, and I'll pay them, the little $88 every month. It don't matter. But before that 24 months comes, I'm gonna, end up just dump the money to them and give it up. But at the end of the day, I also get points at the same time. So I'm not just, charging, but I'm also getting points to benefit me. Instead of, I like using the credit card company's money to do what I do. And at the same time, if I need to be a guarantor to one of my trusts, because when I have a trust that I'm using to run my different businesses, I have to build that credit. But in the meantime, by me waiting to build that credit for the trust, um, it doesn't have a credit rating yet. So I have to guarantee it with my personal. So they still give me high credit limit because I'm the one co-signing for the trust. Now, once my trust is established and it's getting a lot of activity in it, then I pull out and let the trust continue taking over and doing what it needs to do.
That is really, really good advice. I'm glad you brought that up because, it's not necessarily a bad thing to begin using your personal guarantee for your business credit, but you don't want to stay there.
You definitely don't.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Business credit is your best friend.
Yeah.
And it's, you would get your DNB number, and the process is really, really easy. There's a lot of companies out there that will try to sell you to be able to do it, but listen, just go on a website and read. Really, I think it's DNB.com.
Yeah, Dun& Bradstreet is good. Yeah, Dun & Bradstreet is good. I mean, I'll tell. I see. I'm a big believer in paying an expert to do what they do best. Which
I
is,
agree with that.
you know what I mean.
I agree with that.
And there's
But some of these people aren't experts.
exactly. I mean, they're not. Right, right. You gotta do your research, of course, to find the right company to use. And if you need one, you don't know, just you contact me. Of course, we're gonna make sure you got one going. But I mean, I used the company at first to do mine, and then after they did it for my two earlier companies, and I saw the process. Then I said, okay, I could do it. And I'll give some people a tip right now. First, you don't want to use your home address as your business address. You need to get invest in a virtual office or a virtual mailbox that has an actual street address that doesn't have anything to do with your home address. I know a lot of you run home-based businesses, but when creditors are looking and they run that address, they see it. The post office tells them it's a residential address. They don't respect you. Now think about it. Whenever FedEx want to deliver to your house, they come late at night. Why? Because they deliver to businesses first, and then they have to come to the residential area last. That's why you get your FedEx, UPS delivery at night because you're residential. So whenever I need something sent to me, I always send it to my office. Why? Because I want to get it between 9 to 5. I want them to send it early. So that's a tip. And then you got to get an actual human, or business phone number that somebody can answer for you. I know a lot of you using your cell phone, but you still gotta get a good landline because they want to call. Some of these companies are going to call, to verify your business. They need somebody a reception. Yeah, they need a receptionist to answer the phone. So little things like that will help you start building your business credit. Now, if you want to know more, of course, we could definitely help you do it. For as little as $1,000, and we'll get it in for you.
Nice. So listen, what we want to do right now is take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about something that a lot of people don't even think about: insurance screening. Y'all didn't know I was gonna bring that up. Insurance screening, because these are things that people don't think about. So, and how this affects you. You know what? Go try to rent a car. Trust me.
Right.
Trust me. Insurance screening does affect you. Try to get renter's insurance or business insurance. They will run a business screening check on you. So we're going to talk about that when we come back, guys. All right? We will be black. All right, y'all. Okay. Here we go. So,
Folks, yes. Hope you're all enjoying the show. You're enjoying the show. It's about to get juicier. It's about to get juicier. Hey, listen, we're going to talk about credit building. I'm going to show you how to use life insurance, cash value life insurance. I'm going to show you how to use it to rebuild, help you pay off your credit cards real quick, easy and smooth way to do it. And while you're building your money, your wealth. Because at the end of the day, you got to be in power. You got to be in control of your money. And that's what I'm all about, keeping you in control. See, a lot of times you've been lied to about life insurance. They've told you that you can't use life insurance cash value to do things that you need to do. Well, let me tell you one thing real quick. They tell you to put your money in a 401k plan. Well, guess what? Talking about the government puts a limit on how much. They put a limit on how much money you could put into life insurance, into 401k account, right? They tell you could put the maximum you can put in 401 is 18,500, right? But now, life insurance cash value, the government puts a limit on that too. But guess what? They don't tell you how much money the limit is. So here we got 401k, we got IRA, we got TSP, we got all these government control plans that tell you you can only put up to this amount, 18,500 in it. But here we have life insurance that all the so-called financial advisors, Dave Ramsey, I'll call out his name, yeah, Dave Ramsey, Susie, little Susie or whatever, I'll call her name. But guess what? They tell you not to put money in life insurance. Why? They tell you buy term and invest the difference, right? And put your money in the mutual fund. But life insurance, the only contract in America. First, the government says there's a limit, and they put that in 1980. That's when they put a limit in life insurance. But then they didn't say how much money the limit is. Guess what that means? That means I can decide what my limit is. So, for example, if you're a business owner and your cash flow in W-2 income, $250,000 a year, and you want to save for your future, well, the first thing a CPA or financial advisor is going to tell you, well, you need to set up a SEP IRA. Well, you could do all that, right? But again, it's controlled by the federal government, and you're putting your money in prison. But with life insurance, you could say, you know what? I want to put $100,000 away every year, and you could do that. We're getting back to the show, so stay tuned, keep listening, and keep learning. We're about to start in a few minutes.
404-355-8699. I am Dr. Don Vonti, your favorite doctor, your rich black girl, here sharing some information on credit. So, Rike, what's more important than throwing money away at the strip club? Credit. Credit.
It depends on what you got going on with this legal. First JC credit.
Oh my God. So listen. So before we left to go to the break, I had made some big promises because what y'all don't know can hurt you. All right. And one of the things that a lot of people don't even take into consideration is insurance screening. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw it to Laban and let him start the conversation on that. And Douglas, I'm sure you have some insight on this, so I want you to shore up what Laban had to say and give us your insight.
So, just like Dr. D said, a lot of people don't understand the magnitude of where credit kind of crosses the insurance industry. If you want to be able to get some great insurance on your car, your apartment, or your home, they can and they will look at your credit score. There's some insurance screening organizations that you should be aware of. One is the acronym CLUE: Personnel, Property and Auto Reports, Driver History, Insurance Information Exchange, Insurance Service Offline. And they actually have some lower, some organizations that are geared towards people with low income or who have bad credit. And that's, of course, payday loans, check cashing places, different charity services, DataX, Factor Trust, and Micro Lit PRBC.
Yep.
So there is a market for the high rollers, of course, the American Express, Black Card people, but there's also some people, who we are able to see these different places in a lot of our quote-unquote hoods that can, cash a check, and they will be of
check cashing is such a scam. But here's the here's the thing about the insurance screening situation. So if you go, so if you've ever rented a car, especially if you rent a car, try to rent a car from the Atlanta airport, which is where you're going to find the cheapest car rental rate, is at the airport, right?
Right.
So let's say you have a Georgia driver's license, and if you have a Georgia driver's license, and you at Hartsfield trying to rent a car, guess what they're going to do? They're going to run not only your consumer credit, but your insurance screening background. And it matters whether or not, first of all, they're like, okay, but if you got a Georgia driver's license and you're at the airport trying to get a car, we want to see your plane ticket. That's number one. Because why you at the airport if you are not flying in or out or something? We need to see that plane ticket. But we also need to see your credit report and your insurance screening report. If that insurance screening report come back with some blemishes, you ain't renting no car. They're not doing that. And so there are specific companies like Laban mentioned, personal property and auto reports, driver's history. This is not like just your regular 3-year MVR. Yeah, they use that report, but there are private companies that aren't connected to the government who are compiling data about you that they're making decisions about what rate you get, what rate you get as far as your insurance is concerned. Not only that, but also whether you're able to get things that require insurance. Like, these things matter to your life, people. You need to know whether or not these things are affecting you. Douglas, what say you?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember because there's a company that I use right now for my car insurance, which they have the best rate ever, and but it's only available for people with over 800 credit score. I think you can get it if you're over 750 and stuff like that. But it's called eCompass, ECOMPAS. That's a car insurance company, but they only cater to people with because they believe if you have a good credit, that means you can you're responsible. So your car insurance person, not of course not your State Farm or Allstate or wherever. You got to go to a an independent insurance agent that does car insurance, that has multiple of companies, not the captive ones. And they can't offer that company because they're captive. But yeah, I mean, insurance plays a big role, for you. And just gotta be careful how you drive. You just everything in life, man. Like even when it comes to life insurance, I always say your health when it comes to life insurance is your credit. So if you have bad health, I mean, the insurance companies are not gonna look at you. So make sure you do while you're healthy, because that's the one thing I always say. Insurance is the only vehicle in America that will do what it is you want done. That's key. It will accomplish the goal that you're looking for, especially if you know what you're doing with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing: is that a lot of, unfortunately, people discount how important their. Because to me, this is all a part of your image and your brand, right? And so if you're someone who, let's say you're an adult, okay, and you want to do some adulting, right? You do have to be concerned about what creditors and people who are going to allow you to utilize their services. What are they looking at? What's their image of you? What do you look like on paper? And so many of these credit reporting agencies, the reason, or consumer information services, the reason why I'm saying the names and things like that is because you have every right to order your own report and see what's being reported about you. You need to know what people are saying about you, because some of it, like Laban mentioned, a lot of it is what? Incorrect. It is inaccurate. 80% of it is inaccurate. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about is, and Douglas touched on it a little bit, but we're going to go into talking about credit mix, okay, as well as how you can rebuild your credit with life insurance, okay? This is something that I felt like, when I heard about this, I felt like it was really, really innovative. And of course, Douglas was the I definitely want you to present this information. I think it's so important for people to understand how to use all of these different avenues to really create their financial life. And trust me, your insurance report, your credit report, your employee screening report, all of these things matter to the quality of your life. So Douglas, talk to us about one, credit mix, and also about how people can use their life insurance policy to rebuild their credit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, credit mix, it's making sure one, you have enough credit lines of credit for yourself. For example, and also making sure you have, you know, like, because a lot of things count towards, like, I just bought a Kirby vacuum cleaner. I could have paid them cash for that, but I chose to have them run my credit, and then I'm financing and I'm paying them every month for it. Why? Because it's going to report on the credit bureau that I pay on time and all that good stuff. It's going to help continue to help build my credit. When you buy a car, most people want to pay cash. Well, you need to finance it. Why? Because I've heard the conversation. That's a different training. If you want me, I have a video on YouTube that talks about why your cash is king. You know how you got to have different. Even your mortgage, it helps you. Why are you in a hurry to pay off a mortgage? A lot of times people are so much in a hurry. I want to pay off this mortgage. But when you do that, you're losing a lot of things. Your tax deduction. You're losing power of control of your money, because you're giving up control to the bank, to the financial institution. They're going to use your money and loan to somebody else quickly. That's why the bank have so many different ways. But if you keep that, as long as you can afford to pay, just like renting an apartment, you have a monthly obligation to pay that monthly rent on that apartment. Same thing with your mortgage. You took money from the bank to buy your house. Your house becomes the collateral for that loan that you took out from the bank. So many people think, oh, I'm in so much debt because I have this house mortgage. No, you're not in debt, because you could sell that property, and still walk away, and the bank gets their money. So how are you really in debt? The only debt you really have is the monthly mortgage payment. Now, that's why you got to make sure you buy houses that you can afford. Don't go buy a big house that you can't afford because you're trying to impress people. I mean, people look at me and they say, "What, man? Trust and believe." Well, we.
Well, let me
Yes.
real quick. I tell people debt is not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not a bad
No.
thing.
Just like how your body needs a certain amount of fat
Right.
for your
Yeah.
brain to function, for your body to function.
Right.
There are certain things as good fats and bad fats. There are some things as good debts and bad debts.
Yep.
So I know a lot of people who say, I don't want to be in debt. I don't want to be in debt. You actually hurt yourself not being in debt. It's just about making sure that you pick the debt that's healthy debt for you.
And how are you going to use it? How does it fit into your strategy?
Exactly.
All right, here we go. Enrique got something to say.
Okay. So what's a healthy debt? What's an example of a healthy debt?
Okay, so perfect example. A mortgage is a example of a healthy debt. Now, like Douglas said, if you take out a mortgage based upon what you know you can pay, like this is something that you know you comfortably can pay, and if you lose your job or whatever, you can still kind of kick in or whatever. That's a good debt.
Yep. That's true.
Because at the end of the day, you have a house.
Right.
That's a asset for the most part. But a bad debt would be going to the mall and maxing out a Victoria's Secret credit card or something like that, or a Macy's card.
No, beg the difference with the Victoria's Secret.
Well, let me tell you, you can't be sexy and lingerie homeless.
Okay.
Get me somewhere, man. Make that work for me.
And here's the other thing, because y'all know I'm all about the mind and the heart being aligned. So a good debt and a bad debt is how you feel about it. So listen, here's the thing. You gotta put into perspective, how does this debt that I'm about to take on fit into my financial strategy?
Correct.
Right? If it does not help you, if it does not increase you, it reduces you, period. You
That's
can
right.
feel good about taking on a particular debt if you can see how it helps you amass wealth, right?
Right.
If you can see how, like Douglas said, a vacuum cleaner isn't necessarily a good or bad debt, but he was able to see how that can fit into his financial strategy to help his credit score go up even more. Now, no, it's not a mortgage. No, it's not a car. It's not something that somebody might consider to be a necessity. But because it fits properly into his strategy, his financial strategy, that's a good debt. If you feel good about it, it's good. If you just going out here, like Douglas mentioned, and you are buying up stuff on credit because you're trying to look good in your stuff and you're trying to have a particular image and you're trying to show off, then guess what? That's a bad debt. You look crazy because you broke, but you look fabulous.
And check this out. And this is what I this
does not increase you, it reduces you, period, point blank.
right. And this is what I did with that vacuum cleaner stuff. Instead of using my money, I use the bank's money. I'm gonna pay them back in 24 months instead of giving it them a lump sum today. Do you know how much money? If I put that $1,600 in my IML Forex trade and copy that stuff, man, you know how much money I'll make on that?
Exactly.
And you tell me to give, huh?
People with bad debt finance my dream.
That's right.
Like I'm about to get a new car as soon as I can figure out what I want. But the fact that, because my credit score is so high, they're going to make their money not off of me, but off
right,
of
somebody else.
Yeah. Yep. So.
Yeah, because they're going to collect that high interest from people who they don't have a relationship with their money. Because see, so let me just tell y'all my philosophy about money. I see money is just like air, right? So there's no such thing really as your air and my air. It's just air, okay? Now, when I take in a inhale, right? It's mine until I exhale, right? So when I earn some money or attract some money, it's mine until I dispose of it and reintroduce it back into the market, right? The other thing that I can do with it, because like air, your body has to maintain a certain amount of oxygen in order for you to be healthy, right? And so that's how I feel about money. My bank account got to stay healthy, right? My finances have to be healthy. So I'm not hoarding money. I'm growing money. I don't just have it sitting around so that I can log on and look at my balance. Like, I'm doing it for reasons. And I have, different types of money that I interact with that fit into my financial strategy. Now, that money is not going to always be mine. It's going to be passed on to future generations. I may decide to make some different types of investments. But it's like air, it's like water. That's why they call it cash flow, because it's going to flow. And our commerce system would not be healthy if it did not flow. But the trick is have a relationship with your money. Putting everything on autopilot, letting somebody else tell you what to do, not doing your own research, not having a good understanding for where you are and where you want to go. You got to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, then somebody else is going to come along and you're going to fulfill their plan. You're going to fulfill their financial plan. It happens all day, every day. That's why we have so many middle-class people who are trying to figure out their next move, because they really thought that they were going to be able to survive off of one income. And when that one income dries up and they don't have anything invested, they don't have anything saved, they don't have insurance, they don't have many of the things that we talk about on this show and on Facebook. I mean, I talk myself till I'm blue in the damn face, y'all. And you're not doing anything about your situation. Listen, the hardest part is to start. That's the hardest part. Just get started. Just do something. Call somebody. Call Douglas. Call me. Call it. Just do something, people. Just do something. All of this sitting back, bemoaning your financial situation and talking about how somebody else is to blame, that certainly is not going to help. But while you moaning and groaning and crying and whining, guess what? It's other people out there getting rich because you have not decided to take a stand about your financial future. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. So, okay, all right. So I'm getting off my soapbox. Okay, and I'm gonna let Douglas have the floor.
All right.
So, because Douglas, I really do want you to help people understand how to use life insurance to rebuild their credit. I think that's a super important topic, and I think it's time that people they gonna learn today.
All right. So what I've done is I have a $10,000 credit debt. That's somebody credit balance. They owe $10,000, and I'm going to show you how you could pay it off quickly in 3 years without giving all that money.
Is this on your Facebook?
Yeah, it's on my Facebook Live right now. Yes. So normally, let's say the minimum payment on this is $250. So if you just pay the minimum, of course, it's going to take you, you're going to give the credit card company $14,423 for using their money. And it's going to take you 342 months to pay off that credit, right? Now, what do people say? Well, you could pay extra. And a lot of families start putting extra $100 because they feel like I need to make an extra $100 payment. Okay, that's cool. So let's look at that. That's $350. So you want to pay extra. So right now with the 250, $150 of that 250 goes towards the interest, as you can see on the screen, and $100 goes towards the principal payment. Now let me take it to where you're making extra $100 into it. So now you're paying $350. So by doing $350, it's going to change the game. You're going to pay the credit card company off in 38 months. So my situation with that is, and that's just 3 years. So my thing with that is, I'm like, wait a minute, why do I need to give you my extra $100? I already owe you the money. So now let me introduce my baby, which is my life insurance contract, because I love life insurance, as you all could tell that I do. So I'm going to show a person that's
kind of had a clue.
yeah, I love it. So this is a 45-year-old person that is putting away. Let me get my flyer up real quick. Hold on 1 second. I know it's up there. I got to see what I'm doing. Let's pull it up. Where did it go?
Can't have no silence on
Oh no, I can't. I know. My flyer just.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I got it. It's up there. All right, I got it. So check this out. So you all are seeing it on the screen. So this person is 45 years old. He has a life insurance coverage. That's the face amount, $118,000. Because that's one thing I love about insurance, because you put your money in there, immediately the insurance company say, if you die today and you give us $5,500, your family gets to win the lottery. They get $118,000. There's no investment in the world that you put in $5,500 one time and get $118,000 the same day. Whoo! Tax free. Wow. Tax free. Your family receives that money tax free. Now, these guys decides, you know what? I'm going to continue contributing 50, and I use 5,500 because that's the minimum the maximum you could put in an IRA account, in your Roth IRA or whatever they call it. Now he puts in for 3 years. He dumps in the $5,500. Remember, your credit card, if you were paying $100 a month additional, you would have paid off your credit card in 3 years. Well, guess what? In 3 years, he decides, you know what? Instead of giving that money to the credit card company, I'm going to put it in my life insurance contract. So let's say he was only doing, a little bit under the 5,500, and he adds the $100 into it, which is $1,200 more. So now he's doing the 5,500. That's $10,000 he got in there. He takes a loan from the insurance company, and the insurance company says, we'll give you the money, we'll charge you a 4.21% interest rate. Now, that's better than 18%, right? He takes that, pays the credit card company off. But his money, this is his money right here, where it says accumulated value. It started off $4,000 first year. The insurance company said, we could loan you $2,000 of your money in your year one. Second year, they give you, your money grew to $9,000. Third year, $14,000. Now he takes out 10 grand from that. Now look at the beauty about this. He don't pay back the insurance company for 2 years straight. He didn't put the money back. Where in America you gonna go get a loan for $10,000 and don't pay back the company? Nowhere.
From the insurance.
Just the insurance company. And then, and check this out. That $100 that he was supposed to pay to his credit card company, that extra $100. Instead, he was saving that money in maybe some account wherever. That account, that's $6,000. In year 5, he takes that $6,000 and repays back his loan, dumps it into the insurance contract, and then that extra $100 he was going to be giving to the credit card company, he decides to put it in his insurance policy and paid off his credit card, his life insurance, and the credit card company pays off the insurance company in the next 4 years or 5 years right here. So he paid a total of $11,446 back to the insurance company. But look at his cash value is now $58,000. If he dropped dead, his family will get $178,000, and that money continues, and his wealth continues to grow like he never even he didn't even stop. So many people take their wealth and they transfer it over to a financial institution. Remember this, folks. You only have a limited amount of time in life. Life is so, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We're getting older every day. Time is very, very important. The last thing you want is run out of time. And you don't want to ever do that when it comes to your money. You want your money to continue to grow, uninterrupted compounding, which is what this is doing. If you notice, it didn't interrupt. All you did, the cash, where it says cash surrender value, this is where a lot of insurance agents, that don't understand insurance, they use this to lie to the client and say, well, this is what you're getting there. No, this is this is the insurance company money. They're saying we're going to loan you up to that amount. And every year it grows with your policy. This is your cash. It's like having money in your bank account with Bank of America. You're growing the money and you decide to borrow money and you go to SunTrust and you say, hey, SunTrust, I want to borrow $10,000. I have $14,000 sitting in a Bank of America, but I'm earning interest rate on that. And if you can see, I use the very low interest, 5%, even 4.86%. See, it doesn't matter. This is compounding interest. Compounding interest is not the stock market. See, a lot of people are confused with that. They think stock market compounds. No, that's speculation. This is compounding. The insurance company says, listen, we're going to give you interest. And this particular account that I'm using actually is an account, it's an index universal life policy that mimics the market. What did I say? It mimics the market. It's not invested. They're not investing your money in the market. What they're saying is, we're going to use whatever the market returns, we'll copycat that and apply the interest to you up to a certain cap. But whenever the market goes down, you don't lose anything. Your money is safe and secure. I love that. That's cool. And we could do different ones. But the key here, your money continues to grow uninterrupted. If you see the accumulated value, is going up. In 11 years, 67,000. In 20 years, he's 64 years old. He has $171,000 that he could take again from the plan. So,
Well, Douglas, as always,
Right.
I mean, you blow the whole game just away with the strategies that you introduce. People, I hope you are listening. Let me tell y'all what's frustrating for me, and then we're going to go to break. I'm going to go ahead and rant for just a second. Douglas, you don't mind if I rant?
sure, go ahead.
Tell y'all what my problem is right now. So I had a certain amount of people, on my Facebook Live, and hopefully y'all logged off and went to watch Douglas's PowerPoint presentation. I hope that that's what happened. I hope that you all did not disregard this extremely valuable information. I'm just going to go with, y'all just went over there to Douglas's page, and you watched the PowerPoint presentation, and that you were able to understand and capitalize off the information that he's telling you and taking advantage of it. Because here's the thing. We come on this show, we are on Facebook Live, we screen this information from the mountaintop, partially because y'all always complaining that people don't tell y'all that, okay? And the fact of the matter is, when we're here sharing this information and helping you to know how to apply the knowledge, because what Douglas just did was not only did he give you the information, but he gave you the practical application of it, how this can benefit your life. Not just, hey, come buy my product. Hey, come, take advantage of my service to help me. But this is how this can help you. This is what I see for your financial future. And so, to the people that did log off of my Facebook Live and log on to Douglas's PowerPoint presentation, hallelujah, amen. I think you did a very smart thing. Because, I'm just sitting here looking pretty. I'm just doing what I do best. But for those of you who, you logged off the Facebook Live because it wasn't exciting, it wasn't enough negativity, you know what? I mean, that's what happened. At least a couple, 2, 3 of them that happened. For those people, I hope that you are making all the money that you want to make. I hope you are. I hope you got $1 million walking in the door and another $1 million on the till tomorrow. That's what I want. But if that's not the case, You need to be on this radio show. You need to be on the Facebook Live. You need to be on the PowerPoint presentation. You need to be listening to this information, okay? So I'm going to jump off the soapbox right now because we need to take a little tiny break, okay? We need to take a little tiny break because y'all know, I don't know if y'all know this, but, I'm super protective of my people in my circle, and I surround myself with great people. Y'all know Dawn Dollar Wilson, Dr. China Besley, Laban King, Douglas. I surround myself with really great people, and in doing so, I bring them to you because they've helped me so much, and I understand their value. And so this is why I have these people on my show and around me all the time. I don't bring y'all no junk, and y'all know that, okay? So I'm going to need y'all to stay alert, even sometimes when your mind, your broke mentality is playing tricks on you, telling you that this information is boring. You know what? Sometimes it's okay for you to be bored. Sometimes you ain't got to be watching Cheaters or the Housewives of Atlanta. Sometimes you need to be bored so you can get your life right, okay? With that being said, we'll be black.
All right, folks. So what I want to do now, for those of you still on Facebook Live, what I want to do now, I'm going to show you why I hate, the credit companies and what the amount of money that they're making off of you. So let's watch this presentation real quick. So here's this deal. Okay. Now again, this is your circle of wealth. This is the wealth that your circle. This represent all the wealth that you have inside your circle of wealth. There's a lot of things that is affecting it. So you have opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is that amount of money that you you spent. If you didn't have to spend that money, like that person that spent $10,000 to for an expense, maybe you put down on a car because you bought a $30,000 car, but you put down $10,000 because you want to have a. They told you to put that much down. Well, if imagine what that 10,000 would have been worth if you had been able to invest it. That's what opportunity cost means. Taxes. It's a big chunk of your wealth transfer. And when it comes to your 401k, IRA, a lot of people are paying a ton of money in taxes that they don't even realize that they're going to have to pay when they retire. And some people transfer their wealth away, by paying off their mortgage. That's a different training. Then interest on debt. So let's look at the interest that the credit card company make because they're looking at their money too, just like you're looking at it. So here's a credit card debt, $10,000, 18%. Investment rate of return, we're going to use 5%. All right. So amount of interest. Let me just take the interest rate off first and put 0 on there. All right. So by me putting 0, so if the interest 18% of $10,000 a year is 1972. That's the amount of interest you would have paid to the bank. Now, for 20 years, that's $39,000 every year. 40 years, $78,000. Now, if the company, if you were able to invest that in 1972 with a 5% rate of interest compounding, that's $65,000 in 20 years. Comes back to your pocket. That's $238,000 in 40 years back to your pocket. Look at the credit card company. When they are making 18% interest on your money, look at how much money they make in 20 years. $355,000. Look at how much they make in 40 years. $13 million at an 18%. You see that? That's why the credit card company, the financial institutions, take advantage of so many people. Once you don't know, you just don't know. And it affects you, affects your life, and it affects everything that you're trying to do. And when you have a bad credit, they penalize you to benefit people with good credit. That's not a good thing. So, folks, I hope this benefits you and you learn something on here that you could take with you to you know to your family members. Teach them how to properly use credit and build their credit. We still have some more stuff to talk about today, so make sure you keep watching. I'm going to come back in a few. Our radio show is about to start.
Yes, I'm at the screen and I'm telling everybody out there, please take your credit report. I think that this is very serious. A lot of days you walk in debt, you can't get a new car, or a house or whatever, you can't get a decent job or apartment because you got something erroneous on your credit report. For example, I had something put on my credit report, and I never even lived in this city. They put it down for St. Louis. I never lived in St. Louis. I never worked there. I don't have no family or friends there. And I told the three credit bureaus got to get that off of there because I don't have proof that I live there or you work there. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. So make sure you all keep credit reports because they have a lot of erroneous stuff on there. You have to get that off of there and tell them, and tell, hey, prove that I live there or I work there or got the business there. I never even lived in St. Louis. Right. You know? So y'all got to get that off of there.
Yeah. And, that's the thing. You have to be vigilant about the information that's on your credit report. You really have to pay attention. And Calvin Maddox had said that we forgot to tell the people that you could get 2 free credit reports a year in Georgia. Now I thought I had said something about pull your own credit. I thought I mentioned that.
Well, and piggybacking off of that, what is the best way to pull your credit report? Because there's a million agencies, what is, in y'all opinion, the best service to use to pull your credit report?
My personal opinion is to go straight to the bureau.
Yeah, me too.
Go to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Although there's a lot of different bureaus, those are the main 3 that people, report from. And you can actually dispute things on your credit report directly to those bureaus on the website. So I just think that Credit Karma is good in theory, but it can be inaccurate up to 30 points sometimes. So definitely want to make sure that you go straight to the bureau.
So Douglas, what do you recommend for people pulling their own credit? Where do they go? How do they get started?
Yeah, definitely, because when you go to.
All right, I think we lost Douglas. So here's the deal, you guys. Here's what I think. I think that you should go directly to the credit bureau. I think Correct. First of all, you want to hit up Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Not only that, but you want to know what American Data Bank has to say about you for their employment screening. You want to check out accurate background, find out what's going on there. Backgroundchecks.com, Employee Screen IQ, First Advantage Corp, InfoCubic, IntelliCorp, and FreeEmploy.com. You want to go to these companies and you want to request a copy of your report. For your insurance screening report, you want to check out Clue, Personal Property and Auto Reports, Driver's History, Insurance Information Exchange, Insurance Services Offices, okay? You want to get in touch with Clarity Services, Data X, Factor Trust, Microbuild, PRBC. You also want to talk to, for Tenant Screen, Contemporary Information Corp, CoreLogic, Experian Rent Bureau, Leasing Desk, Tenant Data Services, Screen Report, Strategy for if you want to go and open a bank account, Strategy, Check System, Early Warning Services, and Telecheck. Call these people. They're the one. I ain't going through no service. I'm calling up.
Yep.
I want to go to the horse's mouth. I want you to tell me in my face all that junk you were talking on my credit report. I want to hear you say it to my face.
Yep.
Okay. So hey, we got Douglas back. Hey, so good to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the one that I use that I feel kind of gives you the right score sometimes, and the credit bureaus they're all good, but they all charge different amount of monies. So, but this company is called Credit Check Total.
Credit Check Total, correct?
Yeah, Credit Check Total. You could get it for at least pull all 3 of your credit profile for like $1. And you could get all 3 and then you could get rid of it. If you want to stay with them, they charge about I think $39 a month. But you could call them and say, hey, listen, I can't afford $39 a month. Can you give me a discount? Then they'll drop the rate down for you. And that way, every 30 days, I think they renew. You could always pull your credit report for free at no cost, additional cost. You pull it every 30 days. I mean, you don't need to pull it every day. You just need to pull it every 30 days or whatever and see what it is. And it pulls all 3: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And this company is actually owned by Experian owns them. And then another trick that I learned from Sylvia, for folks that have inquiries. Sylvia Williams, she does credit repair. So You could hit her up. She does that. But one of the tricks that she actually taught me was she said, you know, inquiries that's on your credit report, you could actually call. So I called Experian and I said, hey, listen, this inquiry is on here. I don't know who these people are. And if it's, especially if it's inquiries that you didn't really authorize, for them to pull your credit report, then you could get that deleted, and that'll help you, raise your credit score a little bit, but that's just a tip that you could do.
I'm gonna do that because I have some inquiries. Seriously, I have some. I was gonna buy something a little while ago, and I mean, just racked up about 14 inquiries.
What?
And it wasn't because I made one application for something, and they hit up a bunch of different banks.
Mm.
And so I'm going to do that because it's costing me 14 points on my credit report. So
Yep.
yeah, I thank you so much for that information. So listen, I want to talk a little bit about credit repair versus credit rebuilding. All right, there is a difference. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to me and Laban are going to take this topic together because Laban at one time was doing credit repair, and then we're going to talk about these debt collectors, y'all.
So one of the dangerous things about a lot of credit repair consultants is they are so hell-bent on eliminating. When they fail to realize it's about adding balance. It's about making sure that what you take away, you also replace with something positive. Mm-hmm. Because what can happen is you can eliminate all the negative things on your, well, first of all, if you have bad credit, most likely everything is going to be negative on your credit report. So if you eliminate all that, you have nothing on your credit report. So the saying is it's actually better to have bad credit than no credit. And so you want to make sure that when you are, let's say for instance, you have a bill that, is in default, this, that, yada, yada, with collections. You want to make sure that once you remove that you have something else to replace it. So it's there's a place for something to be there. You don't want to sit up here and just wipe everything away. And so it's really a balancing act.
Yeah, it definitely is about the credit needs, utilization, all of those things. But one of the distinctions that I definitely want to make between credit repair and credit rebuilding is that credit repair is governed by the Credit Repair Organizations Act. The Federal Credit Repair Organizations Act regulates for-profit credit repair clinics. So there's a lot of legislation around credit repair, and y'all know I just feel like whenever they start making laws about stuff, it diminishes what you're able to do, okay? And so under the Federal Law and Credit Repair Act, there are certain things that don't necessarily serve you. There are some things that do serve you, because I have had to print out. I had a situation years ago with an attorney who was basically trying to strong arm me into paying something that I did not owe. And I had to print out portions of that Fair Credit Reporting Act. This attorney was reporting this information to my credit, and I had to print out portions of it and send it along with my letters to say, yo, I know the law. And, I ain't going to come down to your office with little nut and little stomachache, and do nothing to you. But I know the law, and you do too. And so let's stop playing this game. Let's stop pretending like I don't know what the hell is going on. And let's go ahead and let you take care of business and take this off of my credit report before I have to sue you.
Ignorance is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
I tell you.
And a lot of people will try to do things because they know you don't have the knowledge to be able to say, hey, this is wrong. So never feel like you can't fight for your own financial freedom.
Right.
Because there are a lot of industries that profit off of you being poor. Just think about this. With good credit, for about $700 a month, you can get, a Benz, one of those, fancy
high-end car.
With bad credit for $700 a month, you can get a pre-owned 10-year-old Ford Explorer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're going going to pay it anyway, you might as well pay it off of something that's worth it and that you want.
Right. Yeah. You know, you pay. Being poor is expensive.
It is.
I have a friend of mine who said, well, because of her situation, she had to do some, let's say, some creative things, right?
Okay.
To get herself a vehicle. And because she's paying so much per month for just, you know, a middle of the road sort of vehicle, what she realized, because she didn't think she could afford to go and buy herself a car. She just didn't think she could afford it. She didn't think she could afford the monthly payment until she sat down and looked at how much she's paying, and she realized she's paying over $1,000 a month for her car that she's never going to own.
Oh my God.
Okay? Now, that can be seen as a bad thing, but here's what's good about it. She realized that she has more money than she would let herself believe. She didn't know that she actually had the financial wherewithal. I mean, the credit situation, the credit ain't just super toe back. It ain't perfect. But, you know, some of that money, some of that $1,000 a month could be going to help her credit.
Okay, yeah.
And then some of it could be going to her monthly car payment and insurance and things of that nature. But because she didn't believe that she could afford it. That's all it was. She just didn't have the belief that she could afford it. And then she looks up and she's paying $1,000 a month because she thought she was too broke to be able to have a decent vehicle.
Don't count yourself out.
Don't count yourself out. Ricky, you look like you got something to say or a question or something.
Well, my question is staying on the whole credit after I get my credit report. Not financially in a great state of trying to build this wealth.
Okay.
What is the best way to start?
We can't hear Ricky well.
Okay, you said we can't hear you very well, Ricky.
I mean, what's the best way to start? Well, once I pull my credit report, and I don't have a lot of money, so I can start building this wealth and everything.
Right.
What's the best way to start rebuilding or repairing your credit?
Douglas, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you answer Ricky, please?
Well, you know, the first thing first, especially if you don't have a lot of money and your credit already jacked up, ain't nothing you could do about it. Just get a life insurance policy. Start building that part of the money. I mean, what you gonna do? You know, you could.
What I thought you were going to say is that you begin disputing things that
I mean, you could dispute. You could dispute. That's good, but at the end of the day, they're gonna still tell you to pay stuff off, and if you don't know.
I'm talking about the erroneous stuff. I'm only talking about things that don't belong on your credit. Maybe there is and a lot of it is incorrect. So maybe there's an incorrect balance. Maybe there is something being reported, an address being reported incorrectly. But just figuring out, okay, so what actually belongs on my credit report,
right,
and what doesn't. You know, I think that's a great place to start. If there are companies that you owe, you know, you may want to call them up and find out if there is some sort of payment arrangement that you can make. You know, maybe the debt is so old that they wrote it off, and maybe they're willing to. Let me tell y'all what happened when I bought my house. So when I bought my first house, I was 27 years old, and I had spent about 6 months building my credit, and it was in a good place. I applied for a mortgage. I got an FHA mortgage at 5.3% interest. And, you know, it was a small house, you know, $120,000 little house out in Snellville. Shout out to Gwinnett County. And so 3 days before I was supposed to go to close, the underwriter calls my loan officer and says, well, there's something new that came up on the credit report, right? Something new that came up on the credit report. I can't believe I'm telling you this. Something new came up on the credit report. And so they gave me the information, told me who to call, who to contact, or whatever. And so I was, first of all, y'all, I was in tears because I wanted my damn house. And I had spent all of this time and all of this money. I had done the whole home inspection, you know, the appraisal. Yeah, we 3 days before close because I've done everything, right? So they give me the people's phone number and I call them up and I get this guy and he's like, well, you know, and I made the mistake of telling him, yo, dude, I'm getting ready to close on my house. I want to da-da-da-da, this and that. And he's like, no, you got to pay the whole thing. And you knew this and you need to pay your bill bills, and like he was really nasty, right? I hung up the phone, called right back, and got another lady. And I said, I told the lady, I said, I was just on the line with Tyrone, and he was helping me make a payment arrangement, but I got disconnected. I said, I said, Tyrone had offered me what I had originally offered to pay. She was like, oh, yeah, I can handle that for you. Let me put that in the computer. How you gonna pay that? I paid it right then and there on the phone, and I was able to close on my house. They sent me a letter. She emailed me the letter, and I printed that mug out, emailed a copy to my loan officer, and and I knew as soon as he started talking crazy to me, I was like, I shouldn't have told him I was buying a house. So I just hung up. I didn't even waste no time talking to him. I just hung up, called right back, and got somebody else. I was like, yeah, me and Tyrone was working together. He had
Right. Yeah.
Listen.
Do what you gotta do.
3 days later, we was having a very Merry Christmas, and I was signing my life away for my mortgage. Okay.
Right.
So y'all, listen. Sometimes you have to let your instinct tell you where to start and what to do. Sometimes you just gotta be about getting what you want in life, and because life will pay the price that you ask for. So, yeah. So I did that, and it was a lot of fun. It's fun talking about it because y'all know I'm a resourceful person. I'm pretty crafty when it comes to getting what I want. But I want to switch gears because we're almost out of time. I want to talk about these debt collectors, y'all. Laban,
Yes.
get us started with these crazy debt collectors, like Tyrone trying to act like it's his money.
Listen, they are vultures.
I think crazy.
And just know that we don't have that much time, but just know that like I believe it's 9 a.m. in which they can't call before that, and they can't call after, I want to say 7 p.m. I can't remember. Don't quote me. But you definitely want to make sure that every time you talk to them, that you document it yourself.
Yeah.
You say, hey, I talked to this person at this date. Her name was this, that, and the yada, yada, yada. Always create a paper trail of interaction with people, because that will really help your credit score in the long run. Because when you can hold them to their employees and the different standards, then it's going to help. Just make sure that you don't avoid them, and just communicate with them. Be honest, and always try. Let's say, for instance, like if there's a bill for $100 and you don't have $100, try to give something. That really shows people that you really want to resolve this issue. Because you got to remember, this is a debt that you incurred. These at the end of the day, just look at it from a street perspective. If somebody owe you money, you will go after them like crazy too.
Yeah.
So don't be mad that this is a whole industry in which they have people do that. Just communicate. Be friendly, be nice, thank them, appease them, because they can do a lot for you with just typing a little code in the computer.
So is there a difference between, say, a first-party debt collector and a third-party debt collector? What are the differences in how they handle a borrower?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that. Everyone knows that, by law, a debt cannot be sold. You don't have to pay a debt after 7 years. What you don't know is that, let's say, for instance, there's Laban's collection agency, and then there's Dr. D collection agency, right? On year 3 of your debt, I can sell the debt to Dr. D, and that 7 years starts over again. So some of you may have debt that's been around for 14 years. It's because they are continuously selling it, but make sure that when they sell it, they have to have the original paperwork to prove that that's your debt. If they don't, it's null and void.
Yeah. Douglas, what say you?
Well, you're right. I mean, and most people don't even know the IRS is a debt collector.
Sure is.
And a lot of you that are business owners that are making, 300,000 by the end of the year, you write off everything and show that you only made $20,000, but you're driving a Bentley, you're living life, you're living in a mansion, and then every year you're looking for write off. The day the IRS will come after you, you're gonna hit the day you were born when they audit you. You're gonna have to pay because you keep hiding.
I'm gonna do like Douglas, and I'm gonna buy everything with my business credit.
Right.
Ain't got to worry about it.
But you gotta be structured right.
I'm gonna right, man. I mean,
That's right.
you gonna hook me up, right?
But no, so many people are collection. The collection agency that people don't ever think about is the federal government, the IRS, their collection agency, or their
They are.
department. But yeah, I mean, you guys were saying the right things, and you nailed it, because it's all about money. Like the child support folks, people that pay child support, that's a collection agency as well. That collect that money, and it's not going straight to your child support, the person that's supposed to receive it. It goes to a different department, and then they take their fee out and then pay the rest. So you taking your significant other to child support, especially if you already have an agreement, and you decide to go file in the court system and have them pay. Guess what? Somebody else is getting a piece of that pie when you could have worked it out together. I mean, now of course some dumb folks don't want to pay their own child support, which is bad. But the ones that do, work it out with them instead of taking them through the system.
Well, I do want to say that we have to keep in mind that debt collectors are for-profit businesses.
Of course.
Okay? They want to make money off of your lack mentality and off of the fact that you are lethargic when it comes to your financial affairs.
Right.
And because you are so lackadaisical in how you approach your finances, there are people out there who are getting rich off of that. Your ignorance, they are taking your ignorance to the bank and cashing it, okay? Which is, once again, why we do this show. So here's my take on debt collecting. If you third party, I don't owe you nothing. I said it, I ain't taking it back. If you third party, I don't have a contract with you. You got a contract with somebody else. And what I want to do when you call me and talk that mess in my ears, I want to thank you for paying my debt for me. I'm going to tell you, I appreciate what you did, because you paid it. I didn't ask you to.
Yep.
And so thank you very much for taking care of that for me. But it's just like if Laban go down and pay my rent, and then come knocking on my door talking about you owe me rent, I'm going to be like, Laban, nobody asked you to do that. I love you, and you pretty. But then nobody asked you to go and pay my rent. Right. I appreciate you for hooking me up, brother man. But no, I don't owe you nothing. And so that's my approach to third-party debt.
I agree.
Now, with somebody who, if I can work it out, and I've had to make some calls in the past, let me tell y'all something. I have gone through it all. I have gone through every type of financial ruin, including foreclosure and bankruptcy. I owned 14 houses at one time. All right. I've been there with the credit thing and back. This financial journey has been a long battle, because, like I said earlier in my Facebook Live, even as a young girl, I understood that what I was seeing around me wasn't all there was. I knew that wealth was available to me, and I also knew that the people around me hadn't figured it out. And so I was going to figure it out come hell or high water. And I had to put myself through a lot of things. And here's the thing, though, y'all. I was always at peace with it. I was always at peace. Whatever was going on financially for me, I just chopped it up. That had nothing to do with who I am, my character, my integrity. I made some mistakes. You can let it be a mistake. You can let a mistake be a mistake, but you don't want to make things habitual. And right. So as I learned and I grew, in my financial career, because that's what it is, a financial career, then I began to understand that I have rights. There are things I have to protect myself. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people all day, I'll give you this information, but this is what I need you to do. I need you to be there for you, for me, and I'm going to be there for me, for you. So we ain't got to worry about each other. So I need you to take care of yourself, okay? I need you guys to take this information to heart, and I need you to apply it. We're about to wrap the show up. Thank you so much, Douglas, for giving us so much good information. As always, thank you, Laban, for the energy and your time.
I appreciate it.
And once again, this has been Dr. John Vonti, your rich black girl, and we are Black History.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, folks, that's all we got. But listen, make sure you share this video, like it. If you could hit me up, 301-220-3555. We could sit down and do some personal programs for you. Because at the end of the day, we could sit down and show you how to properly, structure your business properly. So you could at least minimize some of the tax burdens that you might have, and also protect your asset. If you're sitting around, you don't even have a simple will, that's a problem. If you go on my website, lagofinancialservice.com, you could see on the media site where we say services, you could go on there and on the estate planning section and look up the difference between wills and trusts. And I have tons of videos on my website to help you. Under the media section, you could watch different videos, to help you and educate you on different topics, so you be empowered. All right, folks. So you'll have fun. Thank you. I'm not gonna hold you, and that's all I got. Take care and God bless. Bye bye.